I'm back, baby.
Duke Nukem Forever is a game I've been wanting to play for a long time. A really long time. And now that I've played it, I can say this. It's a whole lot better than I ever would have expected. After 12 years, all those aliens we killed in Duke Nukem 3D are back. And of course, they want Duke dead. Add in a douchebag president and a bunch of naked girls who've gone missing and you've basically got the game's entire plot. Sure, it's bad, but Duke Nukem's not about the plot. It's about two things: shooting and one-liners. One of these things is actually pretty good. I'll give you a hint. It's not the one-liners. The gunplay in Duke Nukem Forever is just simple, solid fun. Power armor, cover, that's for pussies in Duke's mind. Circling around enemies while shooting them in the face, that's his forte.
Hail to the king, baby.
Duke's got all his old weapons back, but my personal favorites are the shotgun and the pipe bomb. The shotgun packs a real solid punch here, and I found myself carrying it with me at all times. One close-up blast will take down just about anything except for a mini-boss, and it feels like a shotgun should feel. Deadly. The ranged weapons do their jobs just fine, as do the novelty Shrink Ray and Freeze Ray, but they just don't have the same visceral punch as a shotgun blast to your face. However, as much fun as the shotgun was, the pipe bomb is something truly amazing. Tossing one in the air and detonating with a helpful set of car keys makes for what's easily my favorite use of an explosive in any game. I tended to use these as much as possible against aliens on the ground, aliens in the air, essentially everything I could blow up because it was just so much fun. Really, the only element of Duke Nukem Forever's combat that isn't too great are the boss fights. In contrast to the run-and-gun nature of the rest of the game, the boss fights force you to hide behind walls. Or more specifically, blast a guy with rockets, hide behind a wall while your health regenerates, then repeat the whole process until they're dead. You also have an infinite supply of ammo during every boss battle, thanks to an ever-present ammo crate, which means the battles are just way too easy, and with at least one or even two power weapons at your disposal every time, you won't be sweating a thing. The fact that one of the hardest parts of the game involves Duke's equivalent of the head crab, and makes every single boss encounter look like a cakewalk, means they definitely did something wrong here. In addition to the combat, Duke Nukem Forever has quite a few platforming bits, several driving sections, and a few puzzles here and there. They're nothing complicated, but they do a good job of breaking up the gunplay. Most of these involve Duke getting shrunk down and making his way through the environments at an action figure size. You're really not going to do any backtracking in this game. Thankfully there are no keycards to be found here, but I like that it gives you a little more room to explore than your typical corridor shooter. There's actually one level that takes place entirely in a strip club with no gunplay to be had at all, but despite that, I had a great time making my way through it and seeing what all I could interact with. Interacting with certain objects in the game, such as playing pool, poker, air hockey, lifting weights, etc., adds to your overall health, or ego in Duke's case. And trying to find all these in the game can be pretty entertaining. And if you're into getting achievements, all these ego bonuses that you pick up are accounted for in the level select screen, which makes going back and grabbing them all really easy. The only one of these non-shooting parts that annoyed me was the first RC car segment in the game, which just went on way too long. Driving the Mighty Foot, Duke's truck, was a good time since I could run people over and drive around the desert environments like a madman, but the shrunken down version felt like a chore. The multiplayer here is extremely old school, with only a handful of options and only one character to play as, Duke. But with its simplicity, it brings a lot of fast-paced fun, and in short bursts it's a really great time. I love the fact that you never get taken out of the action for more than a few seconds, and the frantic search for the best weapons on the map is a nice change of pace from having weapon loadouts and unlockables. The only things you'll be unlocking here are different costume variations for Duke Nukem and extra swag for his house. If you're looking for a quick, fun game of multiplayer, the Deathmatch, or Duke Match, is definitely worth your while. So, up until now, I haven't really mentioned the character of Duke Nukem. Essentially, if you've played his other games, you know exactly what you're in for. And I mean, exactly. This is one aspect that, for better or worse, has not been updated at all.
So wrong, yet so right.
Duke's character is the same as he ever was, only now his pop culture references are slightly more modern and not nearly as funny. Duke's vulgarity back in the 90s was awesome, because it just hadn't been done before. Saying the same things today just feels really tame, and they could have pushed it a whole lot further for a much more enjoyable experience. For example, you can pick up a piece of shit in this game, complete with an achievement, but what you can't do is take that shit, throw it on a shrunken enemy, and drown him in it. Strangely enough, you don't even run into strippers outside of Duke's own strip club, so if you're just looking for vulgarity's sake, this game's actually a step down from Duke 3D. When a game's been in development for over a decade and goes through engine after engine, scrapping ideas and throwing in new ones just because that's what everyone else is doing, you shouldn't expect that game to be good. In fact, I'd expect it to be pretty awful and barely even entertaining for anything more than a historical insight. Luckily, Duke Nukem Forever manages to be a ton of fun despite its flaws, and I can't wait for the inevitable sequel.
It's good.